Let's talk about the guy that wore the lightning bolt for 16 years.
Yeah, Antonio Gates. Look at these quotes. I mean, just what a speech.
His speech was stunning. I mean, this was a tough guy. This guy was a man who said, I'm going to tell you what I believe is important, and I'm not going to cry. Well, a tough guy cried 5 or 6 times during the course of his speech. But he was humble. He was honest. He was truthful. He talked about what was the most important aspect of everything. And he started with, thank you, God, for my gifts. Wow. And then he talked about growing up in the inner city of Detroit. And Detroit built this Hall of Famer. He talked about being a young guy going to Kent State to play basketball, not football, and how they took this raw talent that made him a polished gem. And then he talked about going to the National Football League undrafted, being found by A.J. Smith, coached by Norv Turner and Marty Schottenheimer, and said the Chargers coaches redirected my life. He talked about the legacy of the great tight ends. I don't remember seeing John Mackey very much, but he was the first of the greatest of the greats at tight end. But he talked about the Mackeys and he talked about the Kellen Winslows, giving him a lane to become a star. And then he pointed out to the guy who wore 17 for the Chargers for his whole life, Phillip Rivers, calling him the heartbeat and the IQ of the team. And then he pointed out the guy sitting right next to Rivers, LaDainian Tomlinson, already enshrined Hall of Fame person. And his closing comment, San Diego will always be home in my heart. And I just want everybody to remember, San Diego Charger.
Oh.
And again,
yeah,
every time they introduced somebody, there was linkage to San Diego Chargers at the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
I thought it was so cool. And he's such a classy guy. What an unbelievable career. Everybody comes from somewhere. He came from Kent State as a basketball player, and he's on the steps of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I thought it was a moving speech.
You know, I thought it was a great speech too. And first of all, I was thinking, I never really heard much of Antonio Gates when he played here in San Diego. I mean, he wasn't the go-to spokesman guy, you know. He wasn't in front of the cameras all that often.
It was Rivers.
Yeah, it was always Rivers or someone else.
And Tomlinson was a very quiet individual.
Yeah. Yeah. So the speech was wonderful. The shout outs to his guys, you could feel the emotion when they were zoomed in on Phillip Rivers and everyone's kind of wearing sunglasses to hold back the tears. There was a line that he delivered. It said something like, his coaches protected him from predators
at Kent State.
That was a pretty bold statement to make. I mean, I guess,
understand where he came from. Inner city of Detroit, crime, drugs, killings, and he got out of Detroit.
Incredible. I mean, so what a guy. I mean, what a career. I remember when he was a rookie and we were all like, oh yeah, I got this project, that we hope we can develop him. But who was the starting tight end that year when Gates was a rookie?
Good question.
Because there was a guy that was a pretty established star, if I remember.
Off the top of my head, I don't remember, but he redefined the position.
Oh,
and then suddenly every general manager in the NFL did what A.J. Smith did. They went looking for an athlete that they could build who might be, they were looking for a basketball player who might be a tight end.
Yeah.
And we had a flurry of maybe 5 or 6 years. All of a sudden, these basketball players are showing up on NFL rosters, few and far between. Nobody ever became an Antonio Gates. But think about that. Basketball player, 955 receptions. A basketball player, 166 career touchdowns.
It's just incredible. I mean, look at the guy there. I mean, what a stud. I mean, what a career.
Good person too.
And a good guy. Yeah.
So it was great. What a great day. Hall of Fame day. San Diego Chargers day. End of sermon on that.